All across the world, no Baltimore. But them young niggas stuck, that's all the war. You could lose your life by the corner store. Say they blood or crap. J-O-4-O-O-O, it's Baltimore.
Alright, welcome to Hot Style Sundays. Y'all know what's going on. We here with another episode. We got NiceShotKyle on the building. Appreciate you coming through. What's going on, man?
Ain't too much. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Alright, so for everybody that doesn't know what you do and what you're about, let them know.
Alright, I'm a photographer, full-time photographer, videographer. I've written a book. I produce music. I teach photography to kids and adults. I just practically I do everything that I could possibly do with my camera and anything that I think about doing, off of it.
Okay. So, you from Baltimore?
Yeah, born and raised in Baltimore, Landvale and Greenmount, east side till I die, L&B, down and dirty.
Okay. So what was it like, take it back for us back then, what was it like growing up in Baltimore for you?
I mean, growing up in Baltimore, I really only spent my school years, my school part of the year here. I did, my grandmother lived in New York, so I spent all my summers in New York.
Okay.
But I loved it here, man. It was fun, you know what I'm saying? When you growing up in it, you don't really know that you living in the trenches and shit, you know what I'm saying? It's this is my neighborhood. I had fun within my neighborhood, so, I got opportunity to meet other people who lived in other neighborhoods, so my friends grew out throughout the city. But I love Baltimore. That's why I'm still here.
Okay. And what inspires you? What in Baltimore? What inspires you about it? What inspires you from the city?
Well, what inspires me now is the youth. You know what I mean? I got in so much trouble when I was younger, all the way up until my early 20s. And when I got into photography, it changed my life. It made me look at the world different, and it made me hold myself accountable for things I was doing. So just being able to instill that in the youth right now, I feel is a beautiful thing, and just watching them take this craft and make it their own. You know what I'm saying? That's the highest gratification I can possibly get.
Okay. And what actually got you started? What made you pick up the camera?
A bird. Literally a bird. I used to drive trucks for a liquor company.
Right. And
I had to drive to a route in Eastern Shore, and I saw what I thought was an eagle, but it turned out to be an osprey. And at the time, it's 2007. iPhones, their cameras weren't that good enough for me to get a shot far enough to get it. So my homeboy Devin was already into photography. I was telling him about it. He was like, "Yo, you can buy this camera, and, because I'm trying to buy another one, and you can get that shot." So I bought it from him. It was just a Nikon point and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I probably never even seen that bird again, to be honest with you. But he told one of our homegirls that I had the camera, and she told one of her friends who was having a party, and she was like, "Yo, can you shoot this party?" And I said no, a few times, because I ain't know how to use the camera.
Right.
But she was like, "We don't care, just come through, we're gonna pay you." So I went, and then I got 3 opportunities off of that opportunity that I said yes to. And that snowballed into what I'm doing right now.
Okay. And explain a little bit, how you got started to the business side of of taking photos and videos.
It started immediately. Because I always loved the idea of taking pictures, because I had shoe boxes full of pictures in middle school, elementary that I wasn't in, so I knew I was taking them. So I always appreciated the idea of taking something and seeing it later. But I didn't really see people doing it on another level other than special occasions. You know what I mean? I ain't see nobody doing it for protests or somebody doing it at parties or events. So, you know what I mean? I thought that photography was something white people did, to be honest with you. Then I seen that a black person was doing it in a different way, and I was like, dang, that's slick. You know what I mean? I can do that, but like make it my own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like that first event that I did, I got paid for. So once I saw that, all right, I can use this talent or this tool to make a couple dollars and get me towards that goal of not working for nobody. I said, all right, now I just got to times this times however many I can times the times, you know. So like the business side came almost immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm sure you've taken it to another level though, right?
Yeah, like when I first started out, I was doing mostly like events, like parties, like promoted parties. Then I got my studio after a couple years, and I was thinking to myself like, yo, you spending too much time and your nights in these parties, like you need to spend more time in your studio. So I slowed down on the parties and started doing more studio stuff. Then you grow out of that a little bit. Like I still do studio work, but I didn't want to be in the studio all the time. So I started doing weddings, and then I got into video, and video take you all over the place. And then I got into teaching photography. So teaching is like what I'm really doing now. Like I still do photography and I do a lot of video stuff, but I feel like when it's all said and done, I'm gonna be teaching.
Okay. And talking about teaching, I know you have a book. Help me with the name.
This Perspective Baltimore.
Perspective Baltimore. And I know it's an interesting book because there's not a lot of words in your book. It's a lot of pictures. Talk about like why you made it like that.
Yo, alright, it's interesting. So during the Freddie Gray riots or the Freddie Gray uprising, I took some pictures, and like teachers would like want to use them in their classes. And this teacher named Carrie Graham, she teaches at Patterson. Okay. She asked me if she could use some of my pictures to help her ESOL students with their census. Okay. Right. You know, ESOL students is like people whose language is not their first language is not English. Right. So like like Spanish people and stuff like that. So she invited me in, and it was like one picture that she used to like ask people what they thought about it, right? And a black kid was like, no, a Spanish kid was like, why they mess up that building like that? It was like a abandoned house with "Rest in Peace Keith" written all over it, right? And the Spanish kid was like why they mess that house up like that? And then a black kid was like, they ain't mess it up. That's just how we show people love, right? And I was thinking like, dang, both of them right. You know what I'm saying? Because they definitely vandalized this property, but this also is how we show people love. You know what I'm saying? Like it had the bottles and stuff out there. So that was interesting to me. It was like, yo, two totally different perspectives, but they're both right. And that they could argue about that. You know what I'm saying? But if they both understand that they're both right, that can make a difference. And like I know I've had a million fights. You know what I'm saying? Like if I understood that I could just think about this person's perspective, maybe I wouldn't have had some of those fights. You know what I'm saying? So I say, yo, I'm gonna just create a book where I'm gonna have a picture on one side and lines for them to be able to express how that picture makes them feel on the other side. And like when it came out, I really anticipated it being like a coffee table book, but that joint grew legs and was in schools and organizations and stuff like that. So that eventually led to other opportunities as far as like speaking. Like I did keynote speeches for a bunch of middle schools and stuff. You know what I mean? So like that's how photography goes for me. Like I do and I take all these opportunities lead to other opportunities, you know what I mean, that may not even be in photography, you know what I'm saying, but I just say yeah to them because I ain't scared of a challenge, you know what I mean. So.
Right. And coming from Baltimore, that's not an opportunity a lot of people are getting even today, so what's the what do you think like needs to change in the city, or maybe and it could be in other cities as well? But what do you think needs to change in some people's mind to be able to take their craft to really lock in and go to that, you know, take it to that point where they're now making money off what they love to do?
I like to use this equation, I would say, right? And it's CPS, right?
Okay.
And it's consistency, personality, and skill,
Okay.
right? And to me, like if you're willing to do something and you want to do something and you want to be successful, you have to be consistently doing it, right? And the more you're doing something, the better you're going to get, right? That's going to better your skills. That's going to take your skill level to another height, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you get to the skill level that you want to be, what's going to set you apart from somebody else who has the same skill level? Your personality, right? And photography, what I learned is your skill can get you into a arena or into a room, right? To do your work.
Right.
But your personality is gonna keep you there. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, if I go in there and I'm an asshole, they're gonna be like, oh, these pictures was nice, but I ain't like his vibe. His vibe was off.
Right.
They're gonna go to you. And if your personality is on, you're gonna stay there. It's so many people that I've been shooting for 10 plus years because they just want me to be a part of what they have going on.
Right. You
know what I'm saying? And that's like when I teach, that's like, it's not all about learning photography. You know what I mean? It's about learning how to be a better person. You know what I mean? Every day just working on yourself, knowing what it is that triggers you, knowing what it is that makes you happy, and actively doing things, you know, to keep that balance. You know what I'm saying? Because like, if I came here and I had an attitude, this interview would be going different right now. It's going to affect your energy. You know what I'm saying? But I come in with a clean slate. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, I want to build the energy up. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you to want me to be around again. You know what I mean? So, if that's always going to be, and that's with anything, really. You know what I'm saying? You could apply that to anything. But I know for a fact that that's why I'm successful at what I do. Like, you know, like I try not to let people down. I try to be on time or early. And I try to apply that CPS method to everything that I do.
That's a good method. I'm going to have to remember that one. CPS. Yeah. That's a good one. So, with all that said, like, so some people would say, even photographers would say, well, it's hard to work with people here. Mm-hmm. It's hard, you know, you have to go to Atlanta, you have to go to LA, take them trips in order to be successful. Mm-hmm. But yet you're still here in Baltimore. So explain why, you know, I feel like you may disagree if you have to leave, but explain your position on that.
I mean, success is relative. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm successful. I could leave. You know what I'm saying? I think that might help in my thought process, you know, or, you know, me being able to be comfortable with me staying here, because I know that I could go somewhere else and be successful. Right. You know, you hear people say, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, right? I've been everywhere. I've been from Africa to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know for a fact that I can make it there because I've been there and I see what the market is like. Right. Now, I personally don't want to leave because, you know, I have kids here, and I'm also vested in other kids now at this point because I teach the youth. Like, I'm going into my 5th year of my summer camp right now. So like, I got kids that I've known for 5 years that I've gotten to photography that depend on me in some kind of way. And I feel like the more people that come through my program, the better I'm making Baltimore, you know, one little piece at a time. You know, that's just my part. Like, I like to invest in stuff that I'ma see the fruits of the labor. You know, even though I'm planting seeds that I may not even see the fruit of that labor, but I want to invest somewhere I'm from and not just go somewhere else and invest into somewhere I'm not even from. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And
explain a little bit about your summer program, you know, that you've had. You said you've had it for 5 years now.
Yeah.
So explain a little bit about the benefits about it, and what somebody that wants to go there can hope to see and hope to learn?
It's a 5-week program. It's 3 days a week, and it's free. You know, it's like it's totally free. So I teach the basics of photography, like how to work your camera, all the functions, how to use artificial light, how to use natural light, techniques, certain techniques. I don't teach the eye. I don't tell them what shots to take. You know, that's the half that they have to deal with. I deal with the technical half, and also, you know, just taking them to different parts of the city that they might not know exist. That we black people weren't privy to back in the day. You know what I mean? So you're gonna learn, one, how to collaborate, two, how to work within the city, and three, how to work your camera, and four, how to be a better person.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the main thing. Like I got kids that's had an LLC right now, still in high school, doing photography. You know, like really making a way for themselves early. Like, and it's beautiful because I didn't get into it till I was 27. You know, so seeing them get this head start and then having somebody they can lean on if they need it, which I didn't have. You know, that's like it give me chills. You know what I mean?
Okay. And talking about, you know, helping people, teach people, I know you work closely with Carter Vision. You know, you know, I spoke to him about you. You know, he speaks very highly about you. What is it? How does it feel to have? You know, I know you talk about the kids, but how does it feel to have even bigger accomplishments in all types of places? You have your book. You know, you have people, young kids in high school with LLCs. You have other. I'm sure it's more than just Carter, but you have people like Carter who's now shooting for, you know, walking almost every morning, Rock Nation, shooting for Meek Mill.
Yeah. So
how does it feel having all those accomplishments under your belt, and how do you stay humble and, you know, keep moving forward?
I don't know, yo, cause Ben asks me that all the time. He be like, yo, you don't think sometimes, like, yo, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be like where I'm at right now. And like, it's funny seeing him notice that he's inspiring people. You know what I mean? Cause like you put me on and people looking up to me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't really think about it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have time to like revel in my accomplishments because I'm trying to accomplish something else. You know what I mean? Like my excitement comes from like completing it, I guess, and with teaching, you know, investing in other people is really no finish to that. You know what I mean? That's just something that's ongoing. So yeah, I don't really think about it. I guess that's just my nature.
Okay.
Yeah, cause like I think I'm humble because I could be nobody to anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So who am I to be out here like, yeah, I'm this or I'm that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't care about photography or kids or anything like that, then you don't care about what I do.
Right.
So who am I?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't want one single person to be able to put me in that, like, who are you or why you acting like that? You know what I mean? Like, I let other people feel how they want to feel about what I'm doing out here, and I see how they feel. It make me feel good when I needed to. You know what I'm saying?
All right. And I know I'm getting away a little bit from the camera side. I know you said you did productions, and you even, correct me if I'm wrong, you write a little bit?
No. Well, all right. Jokingly, I call myself the half bar king, right? Because like, I'll just be driving down the street and think about like a half bar. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I put them in my notes. So like, I got a list of half bars. And shout out to Scott Akbar, because one time I was on my way to New York and I sent them like 8 bars, right? And told him to put it together in a rap for me.
Yeah.
And he did it, sitting back in like 10 minutes. And I had to call him like, yo, so now tell me how that flow goes. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not a rapper at all, but I did produce some music for a film that I'm working on.
Okay.
And it's like instruments, you know, it's like I had a live band. And basically I did 5 sessions, but the first session was the soundtrack to my film. And what I did was I had people come in and listen to a part of the film, and then just start vibing off of how that made them feel. And they went for like an hour straight, yo. And I had like some heavy hitters. I had John Tyler, Bashi Rose. I had Brandon Woody.
Okay.
I had Nia June. Like I had some heavy hitters in there, and it was just all organic. Like I'm real big on like being organic with my work. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell artists what to do. You know what I mean? You got to trust that this artist is going to do what you want them to do. Because if they wasn't, why you have them here? You know what I'm saying? Like that's why a lot of times, like when people call me and they looking for a photographer and they like, yeah, I'm pricing photographers. I'm like, well, I'm busy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got like. You can't go off a price with a photographer. You need to know what they shoot, how they shoot, and if it meet what you trying to do.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, you gonna be a headache. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need the money. You know what I'm saying? I need the money. Like, I need the business, but I don't need, like, all money ain't good money. At the end of the day, like, I like if you like my work, I can do my job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I look at art. Like. You can't force it. You gotta let artists be what they gonna be. Yeah. You start telling them what to do, it might make them anxious. Like I might not be able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it messed the whole project up. And it just proved that it really worked. Like it was a beautiful like experience. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When can we hope to like see something about the film?
Yeah, put the press on me, shorty. Like, yo, that's the thing. Like, when you doing your own project and like how you in here and you by yourself, this how I look when I'm doing my project. You know what I'm saying? So, the most help I got was with my music. You know what I'm saying? Because, I got musicians. Musicians love to do what they do, but it's hard to find like videographers and editors that's willing to put their time into your dream or your vision. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Okay.
But hopefully soon. I'm still working on. I'm more than half done. You know what I mean? So.
All right. And I wanted to ask you this question. So, what's the first camera you picked up, and what's the camera you're using now, and what's the difference?
All right. The first camera I picked up was it was a Nikon point and shoot, like a Pixar or something, right? And now I have a Sony A7 IV, but I just got that. I'm really still a Canon person.
Right.
Like I still have a Canon. I got a my 5D broke. Rest in peace, 5D. But I still got a 7D. And I ordered the R5C, which is like a cinema R5, but it's on backstock, so I'm just waiting for that to get here. I'll be right back into the Canon. But I just wanted to try the Sony for pictures, This is my first mirrorless camera, so I mean it's like a cheat code, yeah.
I heard.
Like if I didn't put in like 14 years of DSLR shooting, I wouldn't even feel like a real photographer, because it's so easy to use. You know what I mean? But I feel like I put the time in, so make my job easier.
Right. Okay. And if there's one, like maybe like a challenge you had that still sticks with you that you overcame, what was it, and how did you overcome it?
Challenge. The biggest challenge for me, within my entrepreneurship was actually going full entrepreneur.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you like on a seesaw. I remember like I used to like take notes like I need to make at least this much every week to cover my expenses, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember like people calling and me saying, hold on, let me find out if I gotta work. Hold on, let me see if I'm available. Then you gotta call your boss and ask them. Like that makes me anxious, having to ask somebody as a grown man if I could get off to do something I want to do. Right. So like having all of that on me at a time where I'm trying to go full time is like that's the most stressful time right there. It's like this job, which I depend on, is in the way of my future. But I don't know if this future is going to work. You know what I'm saying?
Facts, yeah.
You know, so it becomes a time where it's like you that little bird in a nest, and you take that first leap. You know what I mean? You gonna fly or you gonna fall. Right. You know, and just the beautiful thing that happened, that those notes that I took on how much I need to make every week and all of that. Once my last day happened, I never looked at that again, because once that first person called me to do something, I did it.
Right.
And I ain't had to worry about whether I could get off. Like I could answer, I wasn't anxious to answer my phone whenever it rang. I could say yes to everything that was happening, and it just kept happening because of that consistency. You know what I'm saying? So that really was it. Like, and I be telling people, sometimes you have to wait until your job is getting in the way of what you're trying to do.
Right.
And that's the time to make that leap, because if like what other time is it? You know what I mean? Like it's never going to get past that. Your job is always going to be your job. You always going to have to do that job. There's no way you're going to be able to do both of them. Right. You know what I'm saying? So once it's like, damn, yo, I got to keep saying no. I got to keep saying no. That's when it's time to start getting yourself together to take that leap. You know what I mean?
All right. I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. I can really understand that. So, you know, there's a lot of people picking up a camera now. Mm-hmm. So what advice could you give to somebody that just grabbing the camera and getting into the game, wanting to take a leap? What would you tell them?
I would tell them just go out and take pictures. Run into problems, try to fix them. Utilize your resources. Like it's tons of photographers out here now, so you can get help from more people. You know what I mean? YouTube tutorials are getting better and more detailed. Because back in the day, like if it was 10 steps to something, step 7 would be missing. Right. And you like, dang. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, the tutorials are getting better. And just apply that CPS method. You know what I mean? Like, definitely apply that CPS method.
For sure. All right, I know you said you have a film coming soon. You got the book out everywhere, Amazon.
Yep.
And you have it in a couple of stores too, Red Emma's and somewhere else, right?
Red Emma's, and it was at Dove Coat.
Dove Coat, okay. Yep. So everybody go get that. But what else can we look forward to seeing coming from you?
Just that film, man. Like, you know, I do the work that comes to me. Okay. You know, so it's hard to predict what that's going to be, but the film is like what my next project is going to be.
Okay,
you know,
okay. Yeah. Well, any last words, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I want to shout out my kids, you know what I mean? My son, Tyron, he's a full-time photographer, Great Eye Media. And, you know, he's one of my biggest successes, you know, as, you know, a mentor, you know, even though I'm his father. Like, I had him holding the reflector for me when the reflector was bigger than him. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to see, you know, him eventually start to take that serious to where he is right now is, like, one of my greatest accomplishments. And I want to shout out my daughter, Carmen. I love you. You know, your daddy's little sweet, precious little baby daughter.
All right. We got NiceShotKyle in the building. Appreciate you coming through.
Already.
For sure. You know, we got LaBoca on that.
Let me finish that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Everybody, you know, gotta go 4300 Shamrock, 4300 Bel Air Road. Head to Shamrock Liquors. Get yourself a bottle now. DrinkLaBoca.com. Appreciate you again for coming through.
Already, man. Thanks for having me.
Cause look, my life like a movie. How the fuck do I not hold a grudge? They gossip about that man, but when they see him, shit is dabs and hugs. Now I'm